My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. The Gospel is the treasure that we have as Catholics and as Christians, the life of Jesus Christ. I remember that was one of my gifts for my first communion, this nanny that I have. She's now in heaven. Her name is Celia. Gave me as a gift for my first communion a copy of the New Testament. And she wrote on the first page, her writing, she said, the life of Jesus is the best treasure in your life, or the best treasure that you can receive. If you read it, it'll enrich you. With all my affection, Celia. And that copy of that New Testament is probably now in my parents' house. But I remember it had an impact on me. I never thought about it as such a simple and deep reality that your life, my Lord, there is nothing better, there's nothing more, interesting, higher, or anything like that than the life of Jesus Christ. It really is deep, simple concept. And in the Gospel, it's not that we read the Gospel just to get more information or to get more pieces of information. The Bible, the Gospel, is a book that changes us. It is not information, but transformation. So when I read your life, my Lord, it's not another miracle or another name or another historical fact about whatever. No. How is this transforming me? How is this affecting me now? How is it applying to me? And inside the Gospel, I think the treasure inside the treasure, so to speak, is not a bunch of facts, but it's the personality of Jesus Christ. It is your personality. It is your humanity and your divinity, your person, acting, loving, working, speaking, interacting. That is what I capture. And that's why the Gospel is applicable to today's life, because it's the life of Jesus. It's not just a piece of museum or a legend, or the Odyssey or something inspiring that has some values. It's speaking to you now, right now, right? And in this personality of Jesus, of course, there's such a richness, there's such a depth that I cannot accomplish in my time of prayer, not even a little bit of it. But maybe today I wanted to point out to something that somehow encompasses all the personality of Jesus, your personality, and is the personality of God, right? So maybe it's a little risky, the scope of this time of prayer, but let's try to think, what is the definition of Jesus Christ in his personality? I think we have the answer in the chapter 13 of St. John's Gospel. Remember, St. John was the beloved disciple, the most intimate friendship of Jesus Christ had in this world. At least one of them was with St. John, very close to each other. And so his memories are very special. The memories of St. John in the Gospel are first-hand witness of the most important person in human history. So it's good to pay attention, obviously, to that. And then he remembers when he was writing the Gospel, he says, well, before the festival of Passover, the last Passover of Jesus in this world, I remember that Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world to go to the Father. I remember the last Christmas or the last whatever of my friend or whatever, the last Passover of Jesus. And St. John is, opening up to what he remembers. And having loved his own, who were in the world, he loved them to the end. I remember that night was special because somehow we all understood that Jesus had loved us for 3 years, 2 years, some of us, and that night all of us experienced, all the apostles were there, and we thought, man, he has loved us to the end. Something really special is going to happen because the opening is so wonderful, right? The devil had already put into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. So there were challenges as well at that dinner. And during dinner, Jesus, you, my Lord, knowing that the Father had given all things into your hands, and that you had come from God and you were going back to God, Jesus got up from the table, took off his outer robe, tied a towel around himself, and then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet. So, remember the whole thing. It's the last Passover. Jesus is closing his public life and his life on earth, as is with your humanity, is closing, is going to an end. And then he is trying to accelerate more and more the transformation of the apostles, and also he's trying to get them something that they will remember forever. So this is a very special moment. And then he says, you know what? I want to wash your feet. And then you remember what happens, right? That when it gets to Peter, and by the way, Judas was still there. So Jesus Christ washed the feet of Judas, even if he was almost lost at that moment. Jesus had the humility to give him a last chance. So he washed the feet of Judas, which is wonderful to me, to such an example of when we have a problem forgiving someone, or Jesus went far and beyond, right? Anyway, and then he got to Peter, and Peter said, you will never do this. You're the master. This is almost like a blasphemy that you do this. I mean, you are God, and you're not supposed to. You're the rabbi. I cannot allow this to happen. It would be absurd and out of proportion. And it is out of proportion. And then Jesus doesn't say, no, you know what, I'm going to tell you the reasons why. He says, no, I know you don't understand now. You will understand later. So our Lord says, this is crazy, in a good crazy way, but don't worry. With the light of the Holy Spirit, later on you will understand what I did today or tonight, right? But and then Peter said, well, if that's the case, not only my feet, but also my head and everything, my hands. And Jesus said, don't worry, with the feet it's enough. I want to show this sign of affection towards you, towards all of you. And that's the personality of Jesus. That's, if we can say in that way without being heretical, that's the personality of God, is service, basically. And that's what we can learn maybe from this scene of the gospel and my time of prayer, to give myself. That should be my personality. I don't know if it is. I guess you and I are working towards that, right? But we should look at Jesus Christ and say, well, this is the way to do things, and maybe to pray about it, because service is not just something that we use. Jesus Christ is not doing this for the sake of having a good picture or a good memory. I'm showing you who I am. It's not just I want to impress you, or it's good for my resume, or it's good to visit the homeless makes me feel good. Well, if that's the point, you're not visiting the homeless, you're visiting yourself. If the point to visit the homeless or a person in a hospital is that you feel better, you're seeking yourself. I'm seeking myself. So even in that way, it's a tricky discovery, but maybe we need to say, I need to be more pure in my way of showing charity, or not showing charity, in my way of living charity. Because if the point is to feel good, I'm not caring. I'm just doing it for a utilitarian reason, right? Like I want to use you to feel good. And maybe we don't say that in that way, but maybe we are acting in that way, or for prestige, or because we want to impress someone, or to impress ourselves, or to be at peace with our conscience sometimes, but in front of ourselves. And then we need to go deeper and deeper, all of us, and say, no. This is my personality. This is the way I think. This is the way I act. It's not just for the show. It's way more than that. It's how I seek and find happiness. And this is a whole another level of service. San Jose Maria says in the way, when you have finished your work, do your brother's, helping him for love of Christ. And brother means friend, classmate, roommate. When you finished, help your brother, your friend, for love of Christ, so tactfully and so naturally that not even the person you are helping realizes that you are doing more than injustice you should do, or you ought. This indeed is virtue befitting a son of God. So San Jose is saying here something that is absolutely revolutionary. He's saying, you don't do this to any other reason. The only reason that you do this for is because you are a son of God in front of a son of God. And that's how maybe in these years in college that are crucial in your developing your personality, and in any stage of life, to be honest, but maybe these years are really, really special. Think, am I investing in my personality? How do I think? What do I love? What is my heart going in general when I'm sleeping or when I'm walking in the street, in my thoughts? How do I, direct my heart towards what? Because maybe unconsciously we're not investing in the person. We're just in A++, which is great, or in internships, which is great. All of the above are sports, relationships, and all those things are great. But where is my heart? There's this quote in the book of Proverbs that I really like because it's so essential, that shows you exactly what you need to hear. And it says, "Preve filimi cortum," in Latin. "Preve filimi cortum." Give me, my son, your heart. Don't give me money. Don't give me time. Those are manifestations of a heart in love. But give me not just noise or money or time or some hours. Give me your heart. And the good news with that, give me, my son, your heart. And then, by the way, the book of Proverbs is written 3,000 years ago, which is really, really cool to read something that applies to now, right? It's what Jesus Christ in this Last Supper, giving himself, self-giving, giving himself. I give you my heart. I don't give you time. I don't give you comfort. I don't give you miracles. I don't give you, I give you my heart. This is what Jesus Christ is giving us. And this is a wonderful part of the gospel. I remember some years ago, I was in this resort for vacation, and then I saw a witness. We were in the pool, and I was younger than now, so anyway. But different people around the pool, and then you see, different vocations or personalities or moments in life of people. Right? Anyway, no judging, but you just look around a little bit, and you see different ways of living your life. And then I remember one morning I had one of those aha moments. I was just there reading or whatever under the sun, nice weather like in California, and there was many people, but by my side, one side to my right, this couple, probably, I would say, I don't know if they were married, maybe very young, and without getting into details, but well put together, attractive, taking sun, and perfect bodies, and sunscreen, and all the above, sunglasses, and they were both in silence, not because they were contemplating nature, because they were looking at their phones. On the other side, very close by, I saw a rather chubby dude with his daughter in the pool. Now, I'm not saying that to be a good dad, you have to be chubby, don't get me wrong. But it's just like a little, and the girl, I could hear the conversation, not that I was spying on them, but just hear, because it's, and then the girl was maybe 2 years old, and she was asking 2-year-old questions, right? Like nothing big. Like, hey, how deep is this? Oh, and then the dad, go, and look, it covers my arm. It's very deep. And then, can we race? And then, and then race. And the dad obviously was going slow, and the girl was splashing the water, and then going, and the dad was, can I get help? Or let's race the sandals. And they put the 2 sandals floating, and then who goes fast? And they were playing games, and like that, right? And answering questions about the insects, about the water, the depth, and stuff like that. Now, compare both, right? I'm not judging. I hope the couple, got married or whatever. But you could tell that in one side there was enjoying the moment at a certain level of pleasure and comfort, and maybe even, maybe it was necessary for them to take a break, whatever. But on the other side, you saw, or I was seeing, we were seeing the people there, how, the vocation of fatherhood grabs you 24/7, and it's a joyful reality that has no breaks. You start being a father, and you cannot stop being a father, even for vacation. There's no vacation of fatherhood. And that's not a burden, like, it's a backpack with stones that you need to carry and then suck it up or bite the bullet. No, it's a joyful reality. It's my heart. And I'm not answering or having a conversation with my daughter that is, objectively speaking, interesting at all. It's about insects and the depth of the pool. I can answer those questions in 3 seconds and gone, right? But I'm adapting to her. I'm just having a great time. She's confident. She's learning how to swim. She's learning how to tackle challenges in life. She's learning. She's loved. She's been, carried emotionally, lovingly by a dad that is just giving himself to her. Now, in my vocation, my Lord, in my personality, I want to enter into this mindset of giving myself to you first, and then to others. And to really do it, our Lord washed the feet of his disciples. There is nothing, you cannot go lower than that. In the time of Jesus, there's nothing lower than washing the feet of your disciple. I mean, this is a basic thing that a slave would do, but never a friend. And a rabbi is completely like unthinkable, right? Not even a friend would do that. Not even maybe a brother. And there's this rabbi. They're supposed to be the Messiah. He's changing history forever. And he has all the power in the world. He's the chosen one. And he's washing my feet. And this is not just for, let's do something that we will remember. No, this is how I love you. This is how I change history. So the whole thing has obviously an impact that still, moves forward in history, and is how Jesus Christ manifests the life of the Trinity, right? And it's not a utilitarian, it's not a opportunistic, it's not a good feeling love. It's way deeper than that, and that's why it's so beautiful and so genuine. So maybe, my Lord, regardless of the time that I have, because sometimes it's okay, even during the day, we will not have a ton of opportunities to serve materially people. Maybe sometimes, I don't know, we can help someone with the laundry, or maybe someone is sick, we can bring him some medicines or some hot chocolate or whatever they need, or sometimes we will do material things like that, but it's just more, how do I interact, how do I look at people, how do I get interested, remember their names, remember their problems, pray for them, give my heart to people entirely. That's what our Lord maybe is asking you and I to do, taking advantage of this gospel. And again, these years in college are great opportunities to shape your personality. What you do now probably will stick with you forever. So it's good to examine ourselves and to say, do I have a personality that is service-oriented? Even if, don't get me wrong, but even if you make a lot of money, and I hope you make a lot of money, millions, right? And then we can decorate till then to begin with. And change the garage and other things. But even that should be, first of all, a drive that you will have to have a big impact in society, but for the service of others. If you make millions and you create jobs and you give salaries in vacation and dignity to your employees, and then you protect when their wives get pregnant, or the employees get pregnant, or they become fathers, and you all those things have a Catholic impact in society and a Christian way of changing history that is very, very down to the earth, even at a material point of view, at a practical point of view. So it is really important, but that personality is not going to have, or that reaction, or that big thinking about how I serve will not happen later. It is now. It's the way I now understand myself, my profession, my career, my time, my skills. And it is a wonderful reality. To me, that dad, again, quote unquote, wasting his time with his daughter was a great example for me as a person of giving myself, giving your heart, not just time or some alms here and there. It's entirely, right? And whether you have vocation to fatherhood from a family or priest or a numerary or a monk, whatever, is giving your entire person to God, your entire heart, that makes you, live your life with the fullness that you are called to live it, right? So it's wonderful. It's actually wonderful. Let's ask Saint Joseph maybe to help us, right? To help us to do this. Saint Joseph was not a father on a mission, kind of a checking the boxes. No, he gave entirely himself to Mary. Let's ask Mary as well. Our Lady said very straightforward, I am the handmaid of the Lord. I'm not just doing this for some hours a day or for the years that you need me. I am intrinsically yours. This is my heart, entirely for you. So let's ask both Saint Joseph and the Blessed Virgin Mary that during these years in which you are molding, shaping your personality, all of us enter into this mindset, enter into this treasure that is the personality of Jesus Christ. And your personality, Jesus, is defined by service, by giving yourself. Now you have some time for... I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.